everybody, it's Deidre again. It's been a while since I've done a furniture project with you. So today what I want to do is what I hope to be a quick update. I typically do a lot of furniture refinishing, and I have some products that I really like. General finishes, stains and paints, and I usually do brush on work. But this is a set of chairs I want to do a quick update to. And I want them black. They're actually going into a short-term rental. And therefore, it kind of is a farmhouse look, so these will be black. And what I want to do is actually use spray products. Now, there are great furniture paints out there, but there honestly are some great spray paints out there that you can use for furniture refinishing. I watched a video on particularly black spray paint, and there were one or two that I couldn't get my hands on quickly, but were ranked a little higher. But honestly, Rust-Oleum spray paints are ranked in like the top 3 great black paints for furniture refinishing. So that's what I'm going to do today. Now, if you've watched my videos, you'll probably see the same prep work that I'm going to do on these, and I'll take you through those steps. So there will be a little bit of prep work. But then I'm going to go to a primer. Now, these are going to be black, so my suggestion is to use a black primer. I have some chairs back here that I'm going to refinish where someone used a white primer with black paint, and of course every single nick and scratch comes through as white. So I suggest finding you a black primer. And then, like I said, the Rust-Oleum spray paints rank up there pretty well with furniture painting, so I'm going to just stick with the Rust-Oleum line of regular paint. Now, I got flat thinking I wanted these to have a flat look. But honestly, I'm going to top coat these, which means putting an additional protective layer on. And again, that goes to the fact that it's going to be in a rental and it's going to get beat up. So it doesn't really matter the sheen of your paint, because your sheen is going to be dictated by your final layer, which in this case is going to be a spray-on oil-based polyurethane that I'm going to use. And I'm probably going to do a satin. I think I have a can of semi-gloss. Not quite sure where I want to go on that. But that's going to be your final sheen. So you typically don't have to worry about the undercoating as long as you're going to top coat it with a sheen that you like. So let's get started and let's see if we can knock these chairs out pretty quickly. So the first step in refinishing almost any furniture I do, or you see most people do, is you want to, especially if there's a good finish on it, which this has a good finish, is you want to what's called scuff sand. And for scuff sanding, generally 150 is recommended. You can do 180. And that really just means just scuffing it. Just trying to break up just the surface of that finish. Now, in the theme of being quick, because I do want this to be a quick update, I'm actually going to use my mouse sander with my 180 and just kind of knock this out a little bit on all 4 chairs and get moving to the next step. Okay, so you can see by scuff sanding, we generated a lot of sanding dust, and actually a little bit more than you typically see. This is actually a lot on this project. So at this point, what you'd want to use is either a liquid sander, a sander deglosser, and if you've watched some of my other videos, you would have seen that I've used a crud cutter product. That's a deglosser. But any of those will work. So this is going to accomplish 2 things. 1, it's going to help us to clean this off. And 2, it's actually going to, potentially cut into that finish just a little bit more. So it's 2 steps in 1, cleaning off all that finish dust and getting the surface nice and clean, and maybe cutting into that finish just a little bit more by the deglossing product. So now that we have all the sanding dust cleared off the chair, our next step is to use our spray primer. Again, I'm using the Rust-Oleum flat black primer, which I recommend a black primer when you're painting black. So at this point, I have 1 coat of the primer on everything. And as most spray cans will tell you, you can recoat within the hour or after 24 hours. I chose to wait 24 hours because I wanted to be able to sand any drips or texture. I've got a little bit of texture here that I want to sand down a little bit. So waiting 24 hours allows me to do that better. So I'm going to sand with some 180 just to get everything super smooth for the areas that are dripped or have some texture. And then we'll go ahead with the flat paint. And again, the sheen doesn't matter since we'll determine that with our last and final protective coat. So we're almost finished with this chair painting project, and it's definitely gone a lot faster than some of the other times that I've painted chairs. Now, in the beginning, I kind of committed to doing everything super fast by using just spray can products, and we did that. So we scuff sanded and we used the liquid sandpaper to get off the sanding dust, and then I spray primed with the black primer, and then I moved right to a Rust-Oleum spray black paint product, and we did like 2 or 3 coats of that just to get good coverage. But as I was thinking about my final top coat, in the spirit of being fast and easy, actually my preferred method is to use a wipe-on poly. I find it goes pretty quickly, and I love just feeling the furniture by applying it that way, and you don't get nearly the drips and some of the other texture effects you might get with a spray poly. So I'm going to change gears just a little bit, and I'm going to recommend to you what I like to do next, and that is just the wipe-on poly. Now, I did decide on a gloss with these chairs. I've actually already done 1 coat. I cheated a little bit because I wanted you to see just how much the gloss gave these chairs life. I'm just really happy with it. So my method is very simple. I use a vinyl or latex glove. And I do like a sock method, and I generally don't have any trouble finding a sock with a hole in it. As a matter of fact, this is one from earlier this week, and I was like, great, now I have one for my project. So just hand in the glove, take your wipe-on poly. This one, like I said, I really like, and you just literally put some on your sock and just wipe down the furniture. And I just really love that process, as well as the effect that it gives. So I'm going to do, I've already done 1, so I'm going to do 2 more coats with these. And I'm actually going to hit this area a little bit more, simply because the chairs I'm replacing them with, I notice that's where they get bumped and hit and chipped a lot going up against the table. So a little more effort here. These are going into a rental, and I want them to hold up and stay as pretty as they can for as long as they can. So here they are, the finished product. They've had their final coats of polyurethane, and I've waited about 48 hours before we attempt to load them up to the rental property. I'll protect them very carefully on the way up. Now, granted, they are going to be a lot more chip resistant in a couple of weeks when all the products fully cure, but I'm hoping that they're going to stay as pretty as they are for a little while at least. Again, I have a real affinity for chairs, and the shape of these and the way this gloss black came out is just makes me really happy. So I hope that this quick chair update gave you a couple of ideas for your next project, and until the next video, take care and happy refinishing.